Joining me now, Kevin Roberts. He's the CEO of the Texas Public Policy Foundation. Kevin, it's really bad at the border. And what's wild is the Biden administration has controlled the media so much, people don't really realize it.
Oh, it's awful. This will sound like hyperbole, Jesse, but the following is literally true. In my entire career, I don't think any administration has blocked the dissemination of a story more than the Biden-Harris regime has of this one. We know that firsthand at the Texas Public Policy Foundation late last week when we heard that the FAA was grounding the drone of a major international news channel. We sent 3 of our colleagues down to the border to fly our own drone. It's going to take that kind of radical, but also very appropriate action by Americans, by media leaders like you who do it every day to fight back on this nonsense.
I'm going to play this from Maxine Waters. And I have to tell you, I find it to be so frustrating how politicians are simply shameless these days about saying the most over-the-top, ridiculous things consistently. And there's nobody worse at this than Maxine Waters. Watch this.
What we witness takes us back hundreds of years. What we witnessed was worse than what we witnessed in slavery. Cowboys with their reins again whipping black people, Haitians, into the water where they're scrambling and falling down when all they're trying to do is escape from violence in their country.
What an outrage. I was having dinner with a different member of Congress in D.C. earlier this week, and he said that Ms. Waters actually was a very pleasant lady. And I said, well, that's fine, but she's a liar. And worse than that, what she's trying to do is race bait. And anytime, as you know, Jesse, the left race baits, they've lost the argument. The problem with this is that she's going to get away with it in most media outlets. And the other problem with this is that those media outlets are not covering the ostensibly racist action that the Biden-Harris administration is taking, which is that the only people they've decided to deport happen to be black people. If our side were as disingenuous as their side, that's the kind of thing we would be leading with. We aren't, because we know there's a bigger context for that. It's really past time for radical leftists like Maxine Waters, who's made a career of distorting the truth, to be held to account by their voters. And I'm really hopeful that in 2022, even Ms. Waters will have her comeuppance.
Well, I'm glad you're hopeful, because I have to tell you, I am downtrodden, because this is the Jen Psaki cut from today. I mean, everybody lied about the whip. Maxine Waters lied about the whip. Chuck Schumer lied about it. Nancy Pelosi lied about it. This was the lie heard around the world, that they're whipping people. And this is Jen Psaki's announcement today about the mounted patrols.
What he has asked all of us to convey clearly to people who are understandably have questions, are passionate, are concerned, as we are about the images that we have seen, is one, we feel those images are horrible and horrific. There is an investigation the president certainly supports, overseen by the Department of Homeland Security, which he has conveyed will happen quickly. I can also convey to you that the secretary also conveyed to civil rights leaders earlier this morning that we would no longer be using horses in Del Rio. So that is something, a policy change that has been made in response.
This is my problem, Kevin. Hysterical lies, hysterical children about a whip and things like that, they turn into public policy now. It's no longer just the nutball college student from the 60s on the street corner with a weird sign he made. These people now, they run the country, and it is so damaging for us.
Well, it is. We, as you might imagine, our organization, which is focused on this border crisis, has an executive meeting about it every day. The top level officials of our organization meet. And in our meeting earlier today, Jesse, this is the observation I made about Ms. Psaki's claim there. It's exactly what you said. She and her boss, the president of the United States, are being advised by people who don't just have the most radical political bias in American history. I mean, they're worse even than the most liberal of FDR's administration. It's the second aspect of them that's equally troubling. They are self-appointed elites from both coasts who've never stepped on an uneven surface other than stepping off the sidewalk. They have no clue what it's like to be at the border. They have no clue what it's like when you're a law enforcement officer and know that having a horse, to be on horseback, is to be in control of the situation. And if she, Miss Psaki, were actually honest, and she actually wanted to honor the great service of our Border Patrol men and women, she would be talking about those beautiful, truly moving images of those equine law enforcement officers stepping off the horses and administering to the need, just the human needs of some of those Haitian children. But they won't do that because, as you said, they're too radical to be able to see the truth.
Hey, thanks so much for watching the first on YouTube. If you liked what you saw, go ahead and like and subscribe. You heard me. Like it, subscribe. You'll get a lot more of it and a lot more of me.